Hey folks, welcome to LifeWalk Coaching, and today we are going to talk about busting those success limits. Now, you might already think, hey, I've got a successful business, I've got it going on, I don't need this kind of stuff. But what we're really talking about here is success in your whole life. So often I talk to women who are successful in their careers. They have a great thing going on. They're very successful with raising their families, but they've lost out on one piece of a successful life, and that's who they are as a person. And, sometimes we get lost and caught up in being the boss and being mom and being all these other things to other people that we lose who we are or who we were in ourselves. And so that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today, is how to remove those limits and turn them into steps to get your life more in balance so that you can enjoy the job or the career that you're in, you can enjoy your family, and you can still enjoy your personal life as you. So stay tuned, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Okay, so this is just a quick training today. We are going to look at 5 things that are limiting you and how you can turn those 5 things around into 5 steps to get your life back in balance. So let's get started with this. What we're going to do is we're going to look at your limits, L-I-M-I-T. I've got a little page up here that you can take a look at. So L is your long-time habits. We get distracted and set in our habits. We ignore the spark of what could be, and we lose engagement and motivation. So long-time habits, that's the first thing you want to look at. What long-time habits do you have that might be holding you back? You get home every day and you start streaming Netflix or scrolling through social media and not really engaging in a hobby or something, getting together with the girls or whatever it happens to be. The next step is your imagination. So again, very often we don't allow ourselves to dream anymore. When you were young, you probably had big dreams. You wanted to travel the world or have a great career or get married and raise a family. Maybe you had these other big dreams. You wanted to run a marathon, or you wanted to, whatever it happens to be. You had these big dreams. And as life went on, we let those dreams fall by the wayside. So, your imagination has kind of been stifled a little bit. And so you need to be able to picture yourself again having and doing these things that you always wanted to do. So that's your second one, I, imagination. The third limit is money. Now, not everybody has money as a limit. If money is not an issue for you, if it's not a limiting factor in the things you do in your life, then, kind of keep this one just in the back of your mind in case it ever comes up again for you. But for those people who do have money as a limitation, saving money for fun, just like we save money for retirement, is important. Let's say you've always wanted to run a marathon. Sure, there's the whole physical training part of it, but maybe you have entrance fees that you need to pay for that. I don't really know a lot about running marathons, so I'm the wrong person to ask for that, but I know that's a big goal for a lot of people. Maybe one of your big goals or your big dreams is to travel. Now, that's something that I have done a lot of, and I can tell you, even when I didn't have a lot of money, even when I wasn't earning a lot of money, I still made a point to save enough, it only takes a little bit every month, to travel and to do those things that I wanted to do. So, again, saving money, just like you save for retirement, you've got to save for other important things in your life. So that is number 3, M, money. The fourth limit is information. So what does information mean? It means a lack of knowledge. Maybe you need training to do something. So again, let's go back to the marathon thing. You want to run a marathon. You've never run a mile in your life, but this is a big dream or a big goal of yours. So that means you need information, you need knowledge, you need training. And who do you need to go to for that training? So that's what you need to figure out. Where are you going to get that information? Going back to the travel example, decide where you want to go and then do some research on what it takes to get there. Do you need to have certain visas for your passport? Do you want to learn a language before you go there? So you can be a little bit more fluent in speaking with the people who live there. So gathering the information, gathering the knowledge that you need to progress on your big dream. So that's important, getting the training. And then time. Time is the last one. And time is probably the most common limit that people claim to not pursuing their dreams and not fulfilling their goals. We're busy at work, we're busy with our families, we're busy doing so many different things. But what we really need to look at is, what are our priorities? Again, if one of your longtime habits is to get home from work and pour a glass of wine and sit in front of the TV, maybe that time sitting in front of the TV and vegging out could be used towards something else. Maybe you spend an hour or 2 hours every week grocery shopping. Can that be delegated? Can you do one of those online shopping services? Some people can, some people can't. Sometimes you have very specific things that you need to buy, and I get that. But these are the kind of things that you want to look for in freeing up time. It's all about making choices with your time. We all have the same 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you just need to decide what is going to take priority in where you spend your time. So those are the 5 limits: long-time habits, imagination, money, information, and time. Now, how do we flip that all upside down? We're going to talk about that next. All right, so here I've got another little page for you to look at. Now we've taken those limits and flipped them around and turned them into steps. So time was one of our issues. Time was probably one of the biggest issues. We turned that time into schedule. So when unexpected emergencies arise, somehow we find the time to deal with them. The car breaks down, we find the time to bring it to the shop to get it repaired. We can be proactive and schedule time for our dreams and goals. And so again, I mentioned this previously, this is all about priorities. And how do you prioritize your time? What is worth your time and what really isn't? What can be delegated off or dismissed altogether? So we talked about information. The flip side of that is training. So not knowing how to do something is not an excuse not to do it. There are books, there's classes, there's YouTube videos. There are so many resources that can teach us how to do the things that we really want to do. Do you want to learn a language? Do you want to travel? Do you want to run a marathon? Whatever these things are, you can find the training, oftentimes free, especially out on YouTube these days, to get that information that you need. So the first limit that we talked about before was long-time habits. Long-time bad habits is kind of what we're looking at here. So how do we flip that around? We flip that back around to engagement. So instead of settling in and settling for all the things that we used to do, or it's easy to do to get home and flip on the TV, we need to get re-engaged. So E is for engagement. Re-engage with your life. What lights you up? What hobbies or activities that have been left by the wayside used to give you a spark? What do you daydream about? So these are the things that you want to think about and really get re-engaged with your life. Get re-engaged with, what does your heart say? What do you really want to do? What would you like to be doing? What are those hopes and dreams and goals that you have? And, pick one and just get totally re-engaged with it. So then we're going to talk about, again, we're going through the steps. STEP is picture. We talked about imagination and how we've kind of stifled our imagination, and we're not allowing ourselves to dream anymore and to think big and to, allow ourselves to do these things. So what you want to do is picture yourself back in those dreams. Picture those dreams in your mind. Do a vision board if you need to, write a list, whatever it happens to be, whatever works for you that allows you to picture yourself running that marathon or traveling overseas or whatever it happens to be. Get the ball rolling by just picturing yourself there. Make it real in your head. And then you can start taking the steps to get there. And then the very last step to moving towards your goal, we talked about money. Again, money isn't an issue for everybody, but for those people who it is an issue, you want to start a savings. If your dream or goal requires money, and if money is one of the limits that you have, and one of the reasons why you haven't pursued that goal, now is the time to just take a step back and start planning for it. Just like we find the time to get our car repaired when it dies. We never have time for anything, but we always find time for that. Same thing, something happens to the car, we find the money to get it repaired. We have to, if we need it to get to and from work or driving the kids to and from school or whatever it happens to be. So here we're just going to be a little bit more proactive and plan for things. We put money aside for retirement. That's being proactive. Same thing. You have a trip that you want to take and you've determined it's going to take $2,000 to get there. Then you be proactive and just start saving towards that. Maybe you can only save $10 a month. Maybe you could save $100 a month. But whatever it happens to be, start the process rolling. That's your step to get there. So we have flipped our limits. Here's that sheet again. Into the steps to get there. Here's that sheet. And those are your 5 steps to get where you want to be. Bring those dreams back to life and bring your life a little bit more back in balance by filling in those missing pieces. So thanks again for tuning in and watching this video. Share some of your dreams and goals down below in the comments. I'd love to see them. I'd love to hear them and talk about them. And if maybe you're struggling with one of the limits and having trouble turning that into a step, post that as well. And you'll get feedback from me, feedback from some of the other members of the group. We'd all love to help you get there. So until next time, get your life in balance and enjoy the adventure.